Man, 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 happy 4th of July. Happy, happy Independence Day. I mean, from everybody here at the G3 compound, everybody's out, doing what they do and all that stuff. And I've been watching, everybody, all over the place, having their different kinds of celebrations and all that happy stuff. Uh, and nobody's logging. And if nobody logs on, we'll keep it short. I knew tonight would be slow and just kind of, maybe you're here, maybe you're not, kind of thing. Happy Fourth, man. Happy Fourth. Howdy, howdy. Um. Anyway, I wanted to get on here tonight and just tell everybody Happy Independence Day, Happy 4th of July. That's what it is, Independence Day, and I hope everybody's celebrating in however way you do it. Uh, whatever that means. Uh, but anyway, I wanted to try to get my buddy Gerald Trucker G on here, but he's got a whole crew at his house. Um, he's got a whole crew going on at his house that showed up for a 4th of July celebration at his new house that he just moved in like 2 days ago. And anyway, he's got everybody's in the kitchen. They're making ribs and having little 4th of July little drinks and all that stuff. Uh, happy birthday to America. Glad we went beast mode on the Brits. The Brits were trying to hold us back. I hired a driver today for the red FLD. Good. Hold on, let me get this damn thing out of my ear. Good. He moved out of the camper. That's a story. You got to tell me that story because I don't know that story. But anyway, 4th of July, we're going to talk about politics. We're going to try to keep it light and slow and easy. And I invited a couple of guys to be on tonight, and then they're busy doing stuff with their family. Trucker G, yeah, G, my boy, the G man, was in the convoy, and here's my thoughts. I'll leave it at this. I mean, you can take it for what it's worth. It's just my opinion, nobody else's, and I don't expect anybody to agree or disagree or anything like that. But here's what I think. I think that a lot of people in this country right now, especially now, and for a long time, have been spending a lot of time and a lot of money trying to divide us and get us to hate each other. That's what I think. And I think that there are a lot of people in this country that uh that feel like they're forgotten, that feel like nobody's paying any attention to them, like they don't count, like what they say and what they think and what their needs are and what they feel doesn't matter. These are not deadbeat people, okay? These are not people that uh they're not asking for anything but a level playing field. That's all they're asking for. So given that, you know, we look at Washington, and those of us in our business, in the trucking business, we look at Washington and we probably see things a little different than a lot of other people in the country. We probably have a little different take on things. Um, and here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think that uh, I think that we see what's going on up in Washington, and we see that we've got a guy running the whole show that is here's a term for you. Here's a term. You ready? It's one of my least favorite terms. Hey, Idella, honey, how are you? I hope you're somewhere cool and safe right now. I just maybe having a liver mush sandwich. Damn, me and you need to do that. Uh, me and you need to do that. Uh, here we go. So I say, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Uh, I think we got a guy up there now that Hey, Bella, what's up, my dear? I think we got a guy up there now that put a man in charge of transportation that was a mayor of a mid-sized town, but white. See, I don't think that helps. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. I think we have a guy up there now that put the man in charge of transportation that has his experience is that of a mayor of a mid-sized town in the Midwest, South Bend. Was it South Bend? Is that well? That's a pretty good sized town, but still, I don't think that qualifies you to be in charge of transportation for a nation with the biggest, largest transportation system on this whole planet. I don't think that qualifies you for that. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care what your learning curve is. I don't care about any of that. I think we need people in charge of things that know things about them. And I don't think this guy does. And I don't care. Let me just get this out there. I don't care about the guy's sex and all that shit. I mean, I don't care. It's none of my business. I think everybody should just do whatever they do. In America, I think everybody should be free to do anything they want to do as long as it doesn't hurt another person. I don't care. Anyone that calls roads racist isn't qualified for anything, let alone transportation. I just don't think the guy's ready for that. He destroyed South Bend. Well, he's working on our transportation system now. So I don't care about all that other stuff. It doesn't matter to me. It's not something I want to hear about all day, every day. But honestly, I don't care about it. What I care about when I get on an airplane, okay, and I walk by and the pilot's standing there greeting people, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And I say, hey, how you doing? I don't give a shit who that guy slept with last night. I want to know if he can fly that airplane. That's what I want to know. Can you land this motherfucker if we get in trouble? Because that's what I care about. I mean, that's what affects me and everybody else on the airplane. The rest of it doesn't. So I don't think it does. I've been invited to be on a couple of podcasts with people, and I watch their podcasts, and I love them, and I love their message, most of it, and I love the ideas that they come up with and some of the conversations that they have. I think in this country, if we're going to end this division that these people have put us in of hating each other, which is absurd, we don't. If he hands you a parachute, you better pray. No shit. I'll be putting it on while I'm praying. Anyway, I don't think, he's offered me to be on some, and some of his guests like to use these little trick words, these little keywords, little trigger words. They like that. They think that's really cool, to say these little tricks. I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think that's doing anybody any good. I think that if we're going to end this bullshit and this division that we got going on in this country and straighten this mess out, I think we're going to have conversations with people we don't agree with. We don't agree with everything they say. I mean, damn. Can you go in a truck stop, or used to be, can you go in a truck stop and sit down with two people and agree with everything they say? No, you can't. I can't. Nobody can. So here's what I think. I think in this country, I think we agree, especially in this business, especially in trucking. I think we agree on about 90 to 95% of everything. Everything. I do. I think we agree on that. I think there are people on the extreme right and the extreme left just agree to disagree. It's that simple to me. I think there are people on the extreme right and the extreme left, and I think that's what you see on TV. You don't ever see that 90% in the middle that's sitting there going, what the fuck are these people talking about? They don't represent me. They don't think the way I think. They don't believe in the same stuff I do. But what you get is these little spikes. Betty, what up? My friend Betty. Man, me and you need to talk. I mean it. What you get all day, every day on the media is people dividing us into two different groups. And it's not just you disagree with them. That's not good enough. You have to hate them. Well, I hate you, you son of a bitch, We're not going to get anywhere like that. We're never going to get anywhere like that. What I watched, my friend, Normal has to get control of Crazy or we're screwed. I agree 100%. What I watched my friend Trucker G do was he got into that convoy, and I don't think he, in the beginning, I know because I was talking to him on the phone pretty much every day. I don't think that was something he intended to do in the beginning, but he did it. Some people called him up and asked him because he has a big following, and a lot of people pay attention to him, and they wanted him in there so their following would pay attention, and it worked. I would tune in some days, and Trucker G would be going down the road, and I'd flip on his video. He'd have 3,000 people watching him at any given time. Most of the politicians go in being honest, but then they start taking money and get caught up. I don't think that's the case now. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think they go in being honest. I don't know a handful of them that do. I really can't think of any. And I mean, on either side, that's another thing. This two-party system is killing us. Okay. The candidates get picked by the parties. We don't pick them. I mean, you say you do, but you don't. You don't pick them because here's a example I'm going to use. Okay, Bernie Sanders decided to run for president because he has all these ideas, and he's got all these things. And Bernie, if you've ever listened to Bernie, he's been saying the same shit for 40 years. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And when he makes a speech, it's the same exact speech that he's been making for 40 years. And he decided to run for president. And he decided when he ran for president that if he was going to get the exposure and going to get enough money to run, that he had to go under one of the left wing and right wing part of the same bird. That's the damn truth. That is the truth. But Bernie decided if he was going to get enough exposure, he had to join a party. And since socially he was more aligned with the Democrats, that's who he went with. Well, it took Hillary Clinton and her buddy down in Florida, Debbie Schultz, it took them about a month to bury that son of a bitch. I mean, buried him. They scheduled his debates at 11 o'clock at night when nobody would ever see him. They scheduled his appearances, with the Democratic committee, at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. They scheduled his appearances so that nobody would be there. They buried his ass because Hillary Clinton thought she was going to be coronated. She was the worst candidate I've ever seen in my lifetime. In the first presidential election I ever voted in was when Jimmy Carter got elected. That's how old I am. So they buried that guy. If he could have figured out early on in his campaign that he could make $1 billion, which is what it takes now. It's all money. It's all money. If he could have $1 billion, $17 at a time, which is what his average contribution was. If he had figured it out then, if he had figured that out then, he could have run as an independent and he would be our president. Like him or not, he would have won because people were so tired of the same old shit. That's how we get stuck with people like Mayor Pete. He was promised a position to withdraw and get out of Biden's way. That's how we got Camel Toe as vice president. Stop with that or get off of here. Don't be calling people names on my page. Like I said earlier, it doesn't help anybody. If you disagree with somebody politically, great. That's dandy. You start calling them names and being petty and punitive like that, that's what's killing us. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it here. You can do it anywhere else you want to, but you can't do it here. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't agree with a whole lot of these politicians on a whole lot of things. A whole lot of them. Calling them names, being as small as they are, that doesn't help anything. It's not getting anybody anywhere. And I see people coming and going up in the corner. I don't know if that's a broadcast problem or if you just disagree, and I don't give a fuck. But this is what I think. I think we're being divided. I think it's talk like that divides us. It doesn't help anything. I mean, if you want to talk bad about Kamala Harris, point out something that she's done politically that you don't agree with, because her personal life's her business, none of yours. Just like yours is none of hers. Like mine is none of hers. My personal life and even my business, that's my business. That's my business. And every day, every single day, especially lately, Every single day, we see more and more and more of our rights being taken away. I don't mean by one side, I mean by both sides. I mean by both sides. We've got a guy running the country right now that has never had a job in his life, ever, ever. He proudly says, "Here's my favorite thing. My favorite thing. He's a career politician. There shouldn't be any such thing. Not in this country. We ought to have term limits." But that man's been in politics for 58 years. He's never had a job. Yeah, your point might be true, but leave that bullshit on the table, man. Nobody needs that. It doesn't help. That's why I don't get on my friends' podcast, because that's what they like to do. Yeah, we're under this regime, and we're and all that trigger talk. All that does is piss people off. It doesn't bring anybody to your side. It doesn't cause anybody to think the way you do. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't do any good. And right now, we need to come together if we're going to get past this thing. We've got two parties, and they're trying to choke you to death. Have you noticed that our presidents, the last several presidents, all hang right around between 38 and 40% approval rating for the president of the United States, the most powerful person on earth? Man, I don't care who says it. He always says, "Well, our country's falling apart." We still, our economy right now today is still 7 times larger than China. We would have to stop doing business and stop trading business right now for 12 years. Just stop for 12 years for China to even think about catching up. And we're not gonna, okay? Our military is by far the most powerful military in the history of the earth, and is by far the most powerful military on this planet. If you Google a map of where our bases are, that's a wake-up call to see where all our bases are and where we've got arms. And I'm here to tell you, China doesn't want a war with us. They don't want it, and they don't want a war with Taiwan. Russia doesn't want a war with us, and they don't want a war with Ukraine. But they're in it, and we're paying for it. We've been paying for wars. I'm 67 years old. We've been paying for wars since I can remember. My uncles fought in the Second World War. My father and one of my uncles fought in Korea. I grew up with it, and right about the time I was able to, read, write, and draw numbers, Vietnam started up, and it lasted until I graduated from high school. My draft number when I graduated from high school was 31, and they stopped drafting people that year. That's how long that war lasted. And we go from one war to the next war to the next war to the next war. That's what we do. That's what we do. We have people in Washington, and this probably goes back to, the Reagan era. We have people up there that really think that, we have to walk around and beat everybody over the head with a stick. We don't. We are the bad motherfucker on the block. We are. I hope that China and Russia don't want none of us, but their words and actions worry me. Well, that's what they do. They talk. They rattle their little sabers and they talk. They don't want shit to do with us. They don't want it. When it comes right down to it, okay, bitch, get your pistol out, they're done. They're done. It's over. And if you're afraid of them, you're not paying attention to the real news in the world. Like I said, don't watch don't watch MSNBC or Fox. Get on Google Maps and Google all our military bases in the world and look at where they are. And look at the equipment we have there. If you still think, after that, that one little thing, if you still think that any of those people want to fuck with us, the military industrial complex. And, Eisenhower warned us about that in his final speech, and he was right. That's probably one of the most important speeches in the history of this country. He warned us about that. Now we're in the middle. There are people in this country that think our economy won't succeed without a war, without supporting war. So we support wars all over the place. Let me ask you a question, because I think about this every year when I do my taxes. Every year. Can you imagine the shit we could do in this country with that money? We've got veterans, American veterans, living under bridges and overpasses right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can go see them. They're out there. They're living under bridges and overpasses. They have problems. Some of them have PTSD. Some of them have other problems, other issues. Some of them are just plain out and depressed. And if you don't think that's real, you're a fool. But they're living under bridges. How in the fuck can we send money to countries that want to kill us and have one veteran sleeping under a bridge? How can we do that? How can we send money to people that want to fight each other? And if you're biblical at all, if you're religious, if you're tilted that way, power to you. But the war in the Middle East has been going on since Abraham. It's a family feud. They're mad at each other. They hate each other, and they want to kill you. They don't like you, and they think if they kill you, they go straight to heaven and get 72 virgins. Oh yeah, yeah. They believe that as surely and as honestly as you believe in the God you believe in and what you read in your King James Bible. They believe that just to the core, and they will kill you. You're an infidel, and they will kill you. We send money to those people. Why are we sending money to those people when we've got children in this country that are hungry? Why are we sending money to those people? Why are we doing that? I don't talk about a lot of social issues. It's real bad like that in Portland, too, in parts of Washington State and California. The reason it's bad in those areas is because of the weather. That's where homeless people go, because it's a little bit warmer there and they get a little help. I've got a big account in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And when I go out there, one of our accounts is right in the middle of downtown, right in the middle. And right beside of my account is a great big park, and it's full of people, and there's some shelters around there, but they get full every night, especially when it's cold. I've got a drop yard there that I've had for several years, and there's always people camping in our drop yard and all that stuff. And people from California will give these homeless people $50 and put them on a bus to Albuquerque. I've seen them getting off the buses and talk to them. We've got that going on in our country. But we're sending money to people that hate us. Here's what I think. And again, this is my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Number one, if we're ever going to get past this bullshit, we got to learn to talk to each other. We got to stop with this triggering shit and calling people names and using little trigger phrases and all that stuff. Hey, if you want to do that shit, you're as stupid as the people that are leading you into it. That's my thinking. That's it. Because they're playing you like a fool and you're falling for it. But as long as we got problems in this country, and I'm not talking about social shit, people. I'm not talking about whether you're gay, white, black. I'm not talking about all that stuff. When I was a kid and I joined up, and I did. When I joined up, it was my hard, firm, and it still is today at the age of 67. It's my hard, firm belief that all men are created equal. All of them are created equal. I believe that. I believe that should be how our government operates. I know that's how the churches are supposed to operate. Whether they do or not, it's a different story. Most of the churches these days are political organizations. That's about it. They get up there and read a couple Bible verses and tell you who to vote for, and then the pastor goes out and boinks somebody's old lady and gets caught, and then you see him in the newspaper next week. They got a new preacher, and everything's good now. Everything's good. So that's where we're at, I think. On Independence Day, we need our independence back. We need our freedom back. We need our country back. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump, and I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'm not talking about those people. That's not who I'm talking about. That's not who I'm talking about. As far as I'm concerned, both of those guys had a shot and fucking blew it. That's how I see it. I'm in the transportation business, been in it all my life. I really don't know anything else, any other businesses to be in, or any other way to feed my family and make my living. And I haven't seen anything that any one of them has done to better my life or my world or my family. I haven't seen anything. I think that, I was talking about the presidents have an approval rating of 35 to 40%. But if you look on any given day, you look, Congress, that's the Senate and the Congress, both houses, Senate and Congress, they have an approval rating of 4% across the board. That's both sides. That's both sides. On the whole, every single American, I'm not talking about Democrats or Republicans or independents, every single American looks at Congress. What's up? What up? Every single American looks at Congress and they have an approval rating of 3 to 4% on any given day. What does that tell you? That tells you that people in America, both sides and in the middle, that tells you that people in America are pissed off. That's what we're mad about. We're mad. We don't think those people work for us anymore. I don't. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I think it, to use a word, and you can you can point a finger at me and get as mad as you want to, and you guys know I don't give a shit. I think it's rigged, all this shit. I do. I do. You got two parties telling you who you can and cannot vote for. They stick them up there. And if they don't like somebody, they just do what they did to Bernie. They just run him out of town on a rail, tar and feather that motherfucker, and put him out on the porch and leave him stinking next to a dumpster. That's what you got. That's what we're dealing with. How do we fix this, you say? Number one, we got to talk to people we disagree with. We got to get into a conversation with people that we don't agree with every single thing they think or say. I ride motorcycles. Most of you know that. I love riding my motorcycle. A lot of guys I ride with are, I ride with some ex-military guys that are friends of mine I used to work with when I was doing the contracting thing and for the government. And I ride with them. I ride with some law enforcement officers. I ride with some hippies. I do. We all get together and we all ride together. And we'll go over in the mountains of North Carolina. And there's a place over there called the Kickstand Inn. And we go there and they got little rooms and everybody, and they got little motorcycle ports right outside your door. You park your motorcycle under them, Then you go out back and you can go out back and build a little fire. And we usually have a little of that mountain juice when we build our little fire. I trust those men. Do I agree with every single thing every one of them ever says or does? No. But if the shit hit the fan, that's who I want around me. Those are the people I want around me. The people on my page on G3 Trucks and Freight, my friends on that page, those are the people I want around me. Those are the people I want to be around. And those are the people I'll get in my car or on my motorcycle and go to where you are if you need me. Because that's what it's about. That's what it's all about to me. I say on every one of my little shows that I do, no matter what I talk about, dispatchers, brokers, whatever, I've been doing it so long. I mean, I talk about that stuff in my sleep, so it kind of comes and goes. There's Betty. What's up, my girl? Hey. Mountain juice. You like that? Mountain juice? My favorite mountain juice is called apple pie. A friend of mine that I met at Large Cars and Guitars introduced me to a little cherry mountain juice that he had on ice for a while. And he decided that since me and him hadn't seen each other for a long time, he'd just break it out. I'm going to tell you what, it didn't take much of that. Me and him was speaking in tongues. You understand what I'm saying? We were speaking in that language. You know what I mean? That brotherhood shit way out there. Anyway, enough of that. And he and I don't agree on damn near anything politically, but he's one of the best friends I've got. And I know it and he knows it. He knows it. He knows that if he called me at 10 o'clock at night, I'd get up and put my damn pants and a shirt on and get in the damn car and go to Atlanta and get him. He knows that. I know that about him. I know these things. Those are my people. Joe Denny's sitting out, and he might not still be there, but he's sitting out in Salt Lake City with a blown engine in his Peterbilt, and they were sending the RGN after him last night. I don't know if they're there yet or not, but I know that if I called Joe Denny, Utah, Salt Lake City, yeah, I know if I called Joe Denny, he would come to my house. I know that. I know that. You know how I count my friends? It's pretty easy. I got 6 kids. They're all grown. You know, and they're more, these days they're more apt to take care of me than I am to them. I mean, they're very grown, capable, you know, people. I'm proud of every one of them. But how I've always counted my friends over the years is if I had a problem, I needed help real bad, or I had to go somewhere, I had to pack up and go somewhere, don't know when I'm coming back, and don't know what I'm gonna get into when I get there. How I count my friends is if I would ask somebody to look after my kids for me while I'm gone. That's how I count them. I know you and I don't agree on everything, but I trust you and have my back. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. That's how I used to count my friends. If I would call you on the phone and say, I got to go, don't want to talk about it, I got to go. Would you look after my children, look after my wife while I'm gone? That's how I count them. That's who those people are. And I have very few of those people, as most people do. I mean, I don't have 200 of those people. I have this many of those people in my life. And that's okay. That's all right. It's just like the G3 Trucks page. I'd rather have a small page of wonderful people, great people like we have, than a great big page of motherfuckers I don't know. Perfectly willing to get to know everybody. I love meeting people. Love you. Any of you guys ever met me? You know, I love hanging out and meeting people. But I'd a whole lot rather have a small, real group of people than I had a great big one. I don't really care about that. Not interested in that. But that's where I think we're at on Independence Day. Those are the things I woke up this morning and went to bed last night thinking about. Is we need to change some things. We need to talk to each other. We need to sit down and talk about the stuff that we agree on and how we can make that stronger. We need to talk about the things we don't agree on. Okay? And we need to work through those things like human beings, like intelligent, rational Americans. There's somebody saying right now, yeah, but them other sons of bitches, they don't want to do that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're as mad as you are. They're as pissed off as you are. They're as frustrated as you are. And we hire these people and we send them to Washington. And after they've been there one term and in the other house 2 terms, they get retirement and benefits insurance for life. Do you? Do you have those things? Why do they? If you don't have those things, why do they? And why do we keep sending them back? I don't give a fuck who they are. Why do we keep sending them back? Either side. Why do we send them back? Why do we send them back? They've gotten to a point now that they'll say anything to get your attention. They'll say anything to trigger you and make you mad. They'll say anything, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. And I can give you examples. I can give you perfect examples. Okay. Perfect on both sides. AOC, she lives in a little borough in New York City. She knows how to get on TV. She's really good at getting on TV. She's good at it. People go looking for her every day and stick a microphone in front of her and they go, "Great wise woman, what have you got to say today?" She's really good at getting on TV. She represents a very small borough of people in New York City. How do you think their lives, their wants, their needs, their requirements, even their desires, how do you think those people in that little borough in New York City, how do you think their wants and needs and desires compare to a family on a farm in Nebraska? They don't. Okay? They don't. They don't. They don't compare. So she gets on TV and she says something. And the more outrageous it is, the more attention she gets. You know, the more that she gets on TV for the next 8 days if she just says something really outrageous. And she knows this. She knows this. You know, on the other side, on the Republican side, you know, those guys do the same thing. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz went to Harvard University. He has a degree in law from Harvard. He spent 8 years as a clerk in the United States Supreme Court. 8 years as a clerk in the United States Supreme Court. And he moved to Texas. He's not from Texas, y'all. He ain't from there. He's from out of town. He moved to Texas and he ran for Senate because he knew he could win in that area. And he says what he thinks he needs to say to keep winning in that area. Do you think a guy with a degree from Harvard that clerked at the Supreme Court really believes all the shit Ted Cruz says all day, every day? You really think so? He and AOC and some just like him are so full of shit. And I think people are I think people see that. I think they understand that. I know the people in my circle do. People I hang out with, I know they see it and they're sick of it. They're sick of being, you know, dragged around by their tits and told it, you know, somebody piss on their hat and tell them it's raining. They're sick of it. They're tired of it. You know, what do we do? Gee, what do we do? I think we start out by talking to each other. This is why I don't get into politics, y'all, because I'm not a political guy. I mean, I'm kind of sort of in the middle on things. I mean, if you ask me about, one issue or another, you know, you might find out, that we agree on a lot and we don't agree on a lot. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'm an independent. I'm registered as an independent. I've voted for people in both parties. I likely will again. From the way things are going, I don't see anybody right now except maybe one guy running. I don't see anybody that I would go out in my car and go vote for. Maybe one. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But we've got to take the money out of politics. We got to have some term limits. We got to get rid of these shysters. We got a guy that's the most powerful man on this planet. I don't care what anybody says. He is, whether you like it or whether you don't. He is the most powerful man on this planet. And he's been in politics for 60 fucking years. He's never had a job. He's never, ever generated one penny of revenue, ever. Never has. Never has. Never has paid taxes, because I got news for you. If you're in the Congress or the Senate, it's built in. He's never paid taxes. And he's running this country. I'll leave out the part that he's getting old and having trouble finding his way to the fucking bathroom. But that's true too. Whether you like it or whether you don't. That's true too. The fuck are we doing? What are we thinking about? You know? What are we thinking about? Then we got the guy on the other side that's in charge of everything. And he likes to get on his little Twitter while he's taking a dump and piss people off. That really turns him on. Oh God, he just thinks that's just the coolest thing in the world. Fuck that. Say something real, man. Say something real. Do something for the American people. Do something. When he had the truckers, these truckers love me. And when he had them up there at the White House, who'd he have? FedEx and UPS. That's what these guys think the trucking industry is. That's what they think. They do. They do. They think it's FedEx and UPS. Anyway, we need to talk. Anybody wants to talk to me, anybody that knows me, anybody that's ever met me, I'm happy to talk. I like to talk. I talk all day. I'll talk till the damn cows come home. About anything you want to talk about. I have to stop them from redistricting too. It's a nice little trick. Yeah, gerrymandering. But you know what's funny about gerrymandering? It's all legal. It is. It's legal. Lately, the Supreme Court's been going around striking it down here and there because they found out how prejudiced it is. But at the end of the day, If their Congress, if the states that's happening in, which is most of them, if the states vote, if their Congress, state House, state Senate votes on it, it's legal. It's legal. Lately, the Supreme Court of the United States of America has gotten into it, and they've been striking a lot of it down. So we got to talk to each other. We got to talk about the things we agree on right now. In our industry, in our business, in my opinion, again, my opinion, we're being regulated out of business. We're being regulated to death because the great big corporations have money and they have a voice in Washington and we don't. And the people that they're talking to don't have a fucking clue who we are or what we do. Nothing. I talked to a friend of mine a couple months ago, and he used to go up there and he used to, get appointments and go around and see Congress people and go around and go to the FMCSA and go to the USDOT and do those things. And for some reason, a couple of people on social media decided that he was liberal. He's a liberal. So he said, fuck it and quit. He's not liberal. This guy is definitely, absolutely not liberal. But that's what some of these little sons, because he wasn't mean enough, or he wasn't shitty enough, or he wasn't hard enough, whatever. He was making a difference. He was doing shit for us. Real women in trucking do shit for us. Those women do shit for us. They do, for the whole industry, for everybody. They're talking to people up there on our behalf. We need more of that, not less. We don't need to shoot them down. If there's some little thing that they're doing that you don't agree with, goddamn, grow a pair and get over it. They're working their ass off for you. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. Then I'm going to sign off and let everybody get back to their 4th of July. You might not agree with everything I've said tonight. You might not. But that's what I'm pissed off about. That's what I'm sick and tired of. And I've been seeing this and seeing this and seeing this. It's reflected on my tax bill every year. It's reflective on all of the regulations and all of the shit that these people in Washington keep putting on my head. It's reflected in that. It's reflected in my business. I love this business. I love the people in it. Always have. I never thought of it as a sacrifice. I'll make a sacrifice. You don't know how bad I was Oh, fuck's sake. If you're making such a sacrifice, get a goddamn job in a factory. You're not running a minesweeper, bitch. You're running a truck. And that's good enough. That's good enough. It's good enough. It pays well. It's honorable. It's fun. It's cool. And there's still some honor left in it. There's still some dignity left in it. Being a truck driver is good enough. I went there the other day and they disrespected me. Oh, fuck. Call somebody that gives a fuck. It ain't me. You're going to run into that. You're going to run into a pissed off guy on a forklift. You're going to run into a pissed off security guard. You're going to run into this. You're going to run into that. Bitch, grow some hair. Grow some skin. Goddamn, get over it. Grow up. Stop whining and crying all the time. Stand up. So, a perfect example, you might not agree with everything I say. And that's good. I don't expect you to. I don't want you to, really. You might not agree with everything I think, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But can we agree that we've come to a place in this country that we really and truly need to make some changes? And I'm talking about some core changes. I don't let anyone disrespect me. Whatever. They're gonna. They don't know you. They're gonna. So, I think that's what people are mad about. I think they feel like they've been left out. I think they feel like they're being cheated. I think they feel like the people that they pay a lot of tax money every year to represent them, do not represent them anymore. I think that they're tired of hearing bullshit from these people all day, every day. I think they're tired of it. I think they're mad about it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I don't blame them a bit. You know, it's not about, to me anyway, it's not about, who you sleep with or what color you are, how tall you are, how short you are, where you came from, where you go to church, or even if you go to church. To me, it's not about any of that. I don't care about all that. None of that's any of my business. That's your business. I don't want to know your business. I'm not in your business. I don't want to tell you my business. I'm not interested. To me, that's not what it's about. To me, what it's about is everybody, every single person, everybody out there on a level playing field getting a fair shake. That's what it's about. And that's what I think. And that's what I think people are mad about. And I think a lot of people in the country are mad about it. A bunch of them. A bunch. This thing happened on January 6th, and some people are getting locked up and going to jail. And here's my feeling on that. You may agree or not disagree. The people that attacked the Capitol on January 6th, some of them broke the law, and they need to answer for that. That's what I think. That's what I think. But the question is not so much that they did it. Some of them did it. I mean, it's on tape. You'd be a moron not to see it. I mean, you got on video people beating people with fire extinguishers and, shooting at people and shit. I mean, you see it. You're not stupid. You see it right there in front of you, you know. And these news channels go, yeah, that didn't actually happen. Well, wait a minute. I just saw it on video. I just saw it. I just saw it. That's like when the president gets up there and makes a speech for 2 hours. Whoever he is, whichever president, pick one. I don't care. Okay. He gets up there and makes a speech for 2 hours. And then on the channel you're watching on, as soon as he finishes speaking, they flip over and there's 6 or 8 people sitting around a desk and they go, wow, president just spoke for an hour and 54 minutes there. And, we've got the table here and the round table. And after these messages, we're going to come back and we're going to unpack that for you. That's their new phrase. We're going to unpack that for you. Bitch, I speak English. I just heard the whole fucking thing. I try to never miss a speech when the president is speaking, no matter who the president is. I do. I try hard every time. I want to hear it. I want to hear what they have to say because they work for me. I don't work for them. I don't know if they know that anymore or not, but I don't work for them. They work for me. When somebody locally runs for office and they get up on the stump in downtown and they go, I stand for this and I stand for that. I don't give a fuck. And I'll tell them that. And I'm pretty known around my little town for doing that. I'll tell them that. I don't give a fuck what you stand for. I don't give a fuck what you believe. We're hiring you to represent us. Your job is to go to Washington and represent us, not you. It's not about you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Servitude and the idea of being a representative, isn't that the name? Isn't that what they're called? Representative? That's out the window now. We work for them because they're important people now. They're a senator. Fuck me. Give me a break. Give me a break. Call me disrespectful. I'll get a t-shirt that says that. I don't respect senators just because that's their title. Or Congress people. I don't respect them because that's their title. They work for me. I don't work for them. Get it? I don't care what they stand for. I don't want to know. I'm not interested. What I want to know is, do you have enough brains? Are you smart enough? And are you aggressive enough? And are you able to go to Washington and represent the people in my area and get us what we need? That's what I care about. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care about any of the rest. I care about that. Do I have answers for every single issue out there? I sure do not. We got a problem with people going in our schools and killing our children, and I don't know what to do about that. And I haven't talked to anybody that's got an answer for it. Fortify our schools. I mean, goddamn, we guard our money, don't we? Can't we guard our children? Jesus Christ. Fortify the schools. Guard these children from these fucking lunatics. Are you going to go door to door? Do you think anybody? Are they going to go to door and collect the guns they don't like? No, they're not. There's hundreds of millions of guns in this country. It's a gun culture. When I went to high school, this was in the 70s. When I went to high school, there was always, and I went to a big high school. There was a big parking lot there. And there was always a whole bunch of old pickup trucks out there because a whole bunch of country boys went there, good old boys. That's who our football team and baseball team was made up of. It was a bad motherfucker. And they all had gun racks in them, and most of them, on any given day, had guns in them. Well, those boys like to hunt. They like to shoot. And they brought their pickup truck to school and left it parked out in the parking lot with the gun in the gun rack. They didn't go get it and shoot up the school if they got mad. I can't think of a single time when I was in high school that we had a school shooting like the ones we do now. I don't think those people back then were on Ritalin and some of these psychotropic drugs that some of these kids are on now, that it says right on the advertisement, right on the bottle, says it right on there. Side effects. Side effects. And one of them will be depression, suicidal thoughts, and death. Right on the fucking bottle. The fuck are we thinking about? What are we thinking about? I don't know. Banning books? What is this, fucking Germany in the 30s? You don't ban books. You read the books. And then your parents say, this is good and that's not good. This is good. And you teach children how to think, not what to think, how to think. That way, when they get to be our age, it's really easy for them to make a decision and go, this is right and this is wrong. Because that's the way I was raised. That's the way most of you were raised. Because I know most of you, and that's how you think, and that's how you talk. You ban books? Really and truly, do you think a child reading a book is going to turn him gay? If that's the case, we got deeper problems than banning books. I'm here to tell you. Anyway, that's my rant for tonight. I planned to do it. I meant to do it. I've set out to do it. I didn't have any guests on tonight. I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to drag anybody else into this. I'll just take a beating myself. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's my good Betty. Thank you, Betty. That's my rant. That's my rant. We need to get to work on talking to each other and loving each other and respecting each other and helping each other. That's what we need to do at our level. That's what it's going to take. That's what we need to do. The people, I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it at the end of every one of my shows. I say this. I'm going to say it again. Washington is not your friend. They are not the cavalry coming over the hill to help you out. That's not what they're for anymore. Used to be, not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. We need to get rid of those people. In 1918, in Russia, a group of people called the Cossacks. You might not like them, or you might not even know who they are, but read up a little bit. A group of people called the Cossacks got tired of it. And they went to the Kremlin and they cleaned it out. I'm not going to say what they did because I'm on Facebook and YouTube and I'll get banned. But when they got done, there was nobody left. And they started over. That's what they did. They started over. I mean, they hit the reset button on them motherfuckers hard that night, and they started over again. Am I suggesting we do that? I don't think we need to. I think we need to vote. I think we need to show up and vote. I think we need to talk about these things to each other and amongst each other. I think we need to stop using little trigger words and calling people names, degrading them on a personal level. It's not helping anything. Doesn't help anybody. Doesn't do anybody any good. Makes you as small as they are. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. I could sit here for an hour and talk about all the things that I've heard AOC say in the last couple of years that I don't agree with, and never mention anything personal about her whatsoever, because I don't care about her personally. She has a job to represent people. I care about that. I could do the same for Ted Cruz. I could do the same for any number of those guys up there. They're showboats. They're out for nothing but themselves. Who's the guy, Jim Jordan, that doesn't wear his jacket? Bitch, put your jacket on. Have some respect for that institution. I don't like you just because of that. His policies, though, I have some problems with his policies. I think he's a witch hunter, and I think he likes to make noise. I think a lot of them are like that. They like being on TV on both sides. On both sides. Anyway, that's where I think we're at. But we got the strongest economy in the world by 10 times 10. We got the strongest military in the world. You can combine China and Russia and Japan combined. We are bigger, stronger financially and militarily. We are bigger and stronger than those three nations combined. Our military is bigger and stronger than the next 10 countries under us combined. Don't let people tell you that they're not. Don't let people tell you, "Oh, we're weak because of that dickhead." No, we're weak because of you. We're weak because of people like you that get on TV and try to scare people. Use scare tactics to get you to vote for them and think the way they do. That's what makes us weak. Our goddamn military, I'm here to tell you, is not weak. Is not weak. Our economy is not weak. Our GDP right now, today, is 7 times the GDP of China. 7 times. You know what GDP is? Gross domestic product. Look it up. 7 times. Those people aren't a threat. All that shit you hear from these assholes in Washington is designed to scare you and intimidate you and get you worried so you'll vote for them. Fuck you. Take care of my goddamn veterans. Take care of those people, those men and women. Take care of them. Don't end every speech with, "And God bless our military," and then leave them sleeping under a fucking street sign. Fuck you. Empty words. Fuck you. Don't do that. Take care of my friends in the military. Take care of them. They gave every fucking thing for you. Now you want to cut their budget. Now you want to leave them on the street. Kids don't have anything to eat. Fentanyl's coming across the border. It's also coming across in legal ways through legal transportation too. Okay, the border is just another thing. Here's an idea. Why don't we stop this? Because we can. If we wanted to, we could. Just like throwing a switch. Why don't we stop everything at the border until we get that shit straightened out, and then have an orderly, legal, safe method for people that want to come to this country and work to do it? Because we need those people. Barack Obama tried that. What year was it? 7 or 8? And crops down in Florida were left in the fields. Florida, Alabama, Georgia. All those crops were left in the fields because the people that usually come over there to harvest those crops couldn't come. Remember that? I remember I was out on my Harley one day, and we stopped at some little store up in West Virginia on the side of the road to get something to drink. And I turned on the radio, and I was listening to that. and I was listening to how many people's crops were going bad in the fields, or just rotting in the fields because they wouldn't let anybody come in there and harvest the crops. Our unemployment rate in this country right now, and if you, depending on which news station you listen to, but if you look at the real numbers, our employment rate is somewhere around 3 or 4%. That's crazy. And a lot of people don't want to work. A lot of people have quit looking for work because they're living on government money. They don't want to work. But when unemployment gets that low, it's hard to find people. Around here, Nashville, we've had restaurants close down. We've had people go out of business, because they can't find anybody. They can't find anybody to work. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do those jobs. So yeah, we need to straighten out our border, don't we? Don't we? Has anybody that's listening to me, there's been quite a few people tonight. I'm surprised and grateful. I am grateful. Have any of you listening to me ever tried to go to a different country? I have. I've been pretty much everywhere. I've been all over. Very few places that I have not been. Have you ever tried to go anywhere out of our country? You ever tried to get into Japan? I got to tell you, going to Japan is a wonderful thing. It's pretty, it's clean, it's nice. The people there are, very, very happy to see you. It's a nice, clean place, and you can get pretty much anything you want wherever you want it. And a lot of happy people there and all that stuff. Try getting into that motherfucker. Try sneaking in there and see what happens to you. Try that. Go ahead. Try it. Try sneaking into Italy. Go ahead. Give it a shot. See how that works out for you. There's not another country in the world that has open borders, just us. And you're saying, well, it's not open. They got this and and if they let Trump build his wall, okay, maybe there are places that need to have a wall. Maybe there are places that aren't. But we've got enough people, surveillance, and equipment that if we wanted to shut all that down today, we could. And building a wall is not going to do much. They tried that, and little Rigoro and some of the drug dealers down there with the cartels in Mexico had goddamn tunnels under those fucking things in a week that you could drive a truck through. Didn't work. We're a big trade partner with China. Why? And somebody got on an airplane and went down there and sat down in front of their president and go, you need to stop this on your side of the wall over there. We're going to fuck you up. Damn, there's an idea. Maybe we need somebody in office with some balls, because we ain't had anybody in a long time. I know some of you are going to say, well, we did, but no, we didn't either, because he didn't do it. Barack Obama didn't do it. George Bush didn't do it. None of them did it, because there wasn't any money in it. Okay, been on here for over an hour. I'm sorry about that. It's 4th of July. Everybody out celebrating this country. This is a great country. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't think we're lucky here, if you don't think we've got the best country in the world, I highly, highly recommend that you buy yourself a ticket and get on an airplane and go anywhere else in the fucking world. I've been around. I've been all over the place. I've been around. I'm going to tell you, there's no other country on the planet like this. And if we want to keep it, and we want to keep it that way, we need to get rid of these carpetbaggers and these assholes. We need to get rid of them. We need to put them on the street and straighten this shit up. That's my opinion. So the next time you see me on here, maybe next Tuesday night or whatever, and I'm going, well, tonight we're going to talk about brokers. Now you know what I think, how I feel. I got it off my chest. I don't know if I'll be on here next week or not. I might go fishing. Yeah. Let's ride the motorcycle to Florida and go fishing and just elevate our fucking off to a whole new level. Be safe, take good care of each other, look out for each other, talk hard, be good to each other. Don't call people names. Don't do that. Don't lower yourself to that. Don't make yourself small by doing that. Don't call people names. Don't get mad at people. And by all means, don't hate somebody because they think a little bit differently than you do about a thing. Ask them why. Most of them will tell you. And at the end of the day, You might come to some agreement and you might not, but at least you'll know because you had a conversation with that person. That's better than not. That's better than not. Happy 4th of July. Hope the rest of the week's good for everybody. I got a friend coming to town tomorrow, I heard. Might go hang out. We might say hello to everybody on our video tomorrow. Who knows? Take good care of each other. Look out for each other. If you need any help, holler. I'm here. Here all the time. And above all, I love you. Talk to you next time.